The Cafferty Group Technical Service Advisors, with offices located in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Colorado, presents Daikin FIT R32 Installation and Commissioning Technical Training Module TRV 13.3 Cased Coils. Disclaimer: this material provides technical information that is to only be used by appropriately trained and certified HVAC/R installers and technicians who have agreed to the terms and conditions that are available at https://www.daikincity.com/daikincitybtb-terms-of-use.html. If you have not agreed to these terms and conditions, you may not use or view this material, and you assume responsibility for any injury or property, system, or equipment damage that may result. If you agreed to these terms, you also agree by viewing or using this material that this material, by its nature, cannot include a discussion of everything necessary to effect a proper installation or repair of HVAC/R equipment, nor can it address every possible scenario or environment a technician or installer may encounter. Accordingly, this material should not be considered as recommendations for best practices and will not be considered installation or repair instructions to the extent of any conflict with Daikin or Goodman issued manuals and specifications, or industry standards and regulations. Each installer or technician remains fully responsible for ensuring proper installation or repair of the HVAC/R equipment being worked on, and you remain fully responsible for any injury or property, system, or equipment damage which may result from your installation. Copyright 2024 Daikin Comfort Technologies North America Incorporated. All rights reserved. Recording, copying, or distribution of this material is prohibited without express written permission from Daikin. Agenda. This training will cover installation, additional transformers for printed circuit board, and control panel and wiring. Installation. Horizontal right and horizontal left installations. Front view. The CHPEA coil is bidirectional and can be installed in either a left or right direction. CHPE coils are designed for indoor installation only and are installed on the discharge air side of a furnace. They should be installed on the return air side of a modular blower. Note: the coil must be installed with the line set and drain openings to the front of the furnace or modular blower. 90+ furnace install procedures. The furnace should be installed with a 1/2 to 3/4 inch forward tilt for condensate drainage. The furnace should be level from end to end. If the furnace is in an attic or above a finished area, it should have a secondary drain pan installed. Duct flange attachment. There is no conversion required to reverse from a horizontal right to a horizontal left application. Attach the duct flanges to the discharge side of the unit. If the coil and furnace combination are not similar in depth and width, use a field-supplied transition to center the furnace and coil openings. Z-bracket attachment. The supplied Z-bracket attachment should be used to attach the coil to a narrower furnace when the furnace is one size smaller than the coil. For example, if the coil is 21 inches and the furnace is 17.5 inches. Z-bracket hardware and bracket kit. Using the hardware and brackets provided, attach the coil to the furnace and the plenum to the coil. Stiffening or shipping bracket removal. Prior to installation, remove the stiffening or shipping bracket spanning the A-coil apex to the rear of the wrapper on all models. The bottom duct flange for the supply plenum side is shipped unattached. Carefully insert the flange into the bottom rail and use a 5/16" screw to attach at the middle of the flange. Secure the side flanges with field-supplied 5/16" screws on the supply plenum side. Sealing along the panel gap. If the plenum and furnace openings are the same size, the filler plates must be removed. Apply field-provided insulation tape along all joining surfaces to prevent cabinet condensation. Removing the control panel. Remove the control panel from the right front panel to prevent component wiring damage. Remove the 4 mounting screws to detach the control panel from the right front panel. Removing the control panel allows the wiring to be safely pushed through the panel wireway. Release of factory nitrogen from shipping. A case coil is shipped containing nitrogen gas under approximately 150 psig of pressure. Release pressure from the gas pipe pressure release device before initiating piping work. Brazing. When brazing the indoor coil, make sure to protect the pipe going into the coil by wrapping it with a wet cloth. This will protect heat from transferring to the pipe and damaging the sensors on the indoor coil piping. Drain piping. A secondary Port B condensate drain connection is provided for areas where local codes require it. In a blow-through application, the drain trap prevents conditioned air from escaping. The depth of a running trap should be either 1 inch or a depth that permits unrestricted condensate drainage without excessive air discharge. It is permissible in this application to use a shallow trap design, referred to as a running trap. In a draw-through application, the drain trap prevents air from being drawn back through the drain line during fan operation. This prevents condensation from draining, and if connected to a sewer line, prevents sewer gases from being drawn into the airstream during blower operation. Additional transformer for the printed circuit board. Transformer installation. Additional transformer to power cased coil control panel PCB. A transformer is shipped with the EEV coil and will be mounted in the gas furnace and the MBVK modular blower. The purpose of this transformer is to power the printed circuit board on the EEV coil. The kit includes 2 brackets that allow the transformer to be installed inside the furnace cabinet. Brackets are labeled A and B. The installation instructions that come with the EEV coil show the proper way to mount the transformer. Mounting bracket A inside the furnace. This diagram shows mounting bracket A behind the factory-installed transformer, and the case coil PCB transformer also mounted to bracket A. Mounting bracket B inside the furnace. This diagram shows bracket B mounted behind the factory-installed furnace transformer, and the case coil transformer PCB mounted to transformer bracket B also. Wiring the PCB transformer using furnace power. Use the red and black wires provided in the transformer kit. Connect one end of the red and black wires to the high voltage side of the transformer, common and 120 volt. Connect the other end of the red and black wires to the power source in the furnace high voltage junction box. As an option, Communicating furnace PC boards have line voltage accessory terminals that will allow the transformer to be powered by the furnace board if that connection is not being used. Transformer wiring using furnace power. The transformer supplies 24 volts AC to the coil-printed circuit boards via the yellow and purple wires in the transformer kit. Do not supply high voltage to the EEV coil PCB. It will cause the board to fail. Control panel and wiring. Board ID connections and dip switches. X1A, the heater kit output. It's not used with gas furnaces. X2A, shared data port. X3A, indoor EEV coil. X5A, thermistor for the heat exchanger. X7A is not used. X8A, thermostat input. X15A, pressure sensor. F1U, fuse 3 amp for auxiliary alarm and heater output. F2U, fuse 3.15 amp protects the PCB microchip 24 volts AC in. TH1 and TR1 are the 24 volt AC transformer input via transformer 1, TB1, TB2. TB4 and TB5, auxiliary alarm, not active for a Daikin FIT. TB6 and TB8, accessory contacts, humidifier, etc. TB3 and TB7, board common, ground. Dip switch 1, 2, and 3 are not used. DS4, S15 set to on to enable normal EEV operation. DS5, EEV factory default set to 50%. DS6, set dip switches S21 and S22 for emergency mode. Board ID connection and dip switches. Here is the physical location on the circuit board for dip switch 1, dip switch 2, dip switch 3, dip switch 4, dip switch 5, and dip switch 6. CAPEA and CHPEA control module. The control module is mounted on the exterior of the casing and is pre-wired. Verify plugs and wires are secure on the board before powering the system. Sensor information. The sensor bracket assemblies are shipped with 2 zip ties, one of which is designed for strain relief. This zip tie must be kept attached to the bracket and wiring. It is the installer's responsibility to ensure that the mitigation mode is operational. Sensors are not intended for service or repair. If the sensor is not functioning properly, the sensor must be replaced by removing the old sensor from the bracket and reinstalling the new sensor with the new push pins and zip tie. Sensor testing. To ensure that the sensor is operational, the technician can check between pins 1 and 4. You should read 5 volts DC. Once the voltage is verified, mitigation mode can be tested utilizing the refrigerant leak test mode found in the communicating thermostat menus. Wire routing. The A2L sensor must be installed and powered for service. Ensure that the grommet is installed through the access panel knockout hole. If the furnace match is a non-A2L furnace, then a FIK, furnace integration kit, must be used. For A2L furnaces, this wiring is intended to be passed through the access hole on the furnace. If a hole must be cut in the furnace, ensure that the wiring is well protected from mechanical damage and that the hole is free from burrs or sharp edges. Use a protective coating for all exposed metal edges. Thank you for joining us for the Daikin FIT R32 Installation and Commissioning Technical Training Module, TRV 13.3, Cased Coils. If you have any questions or need more information, please contact the Cafferty Group Technical Service Advisors at one of these 12 locations.